Hello everyone. What I would like to talk to discuss with you today is about faith in Confucianism. So again, it's a continuation talking about the concept of faith in the comparative religion. I begin with the origins of Confucianism. So Confucianism is a philosophy and a belief system from ancient China which laid the foundation for much of Chinese culture. And Confucius was a philosopher and teacher who lived from 551 to 479 BCE. So the famous golden rule in this religion is do not do unto others what you would not want others to do unto you. So the main idea of Confucianism is the importance of having a good moral character which can then affect the world around that person through the idea of cosmic harmony. So Confucianism, there was this debate whether Confucianism is a religion or a philosophy. So this debate continue until today, that they they even consider it as a way of life than than a religion. And then the idea of filial piety or devotion to family is key to Confucius thought, no? So they really value so much the relationship. So this devotion can take the form of ancestor worship, your ancestors, then submission to parental authority, or the use of family metaphors such as son of heaven to describe the emperor and his government. And then while Confucius gave his name to Confucianism, he was not the first person to discuss many of the important concepts in Confucianism. Rather, he can be understood as someone concerned with the preservation of traditional Chinese knowledge from earlier thinkers. So he is more of a transmitter of knowledge. Okay. This is the founder of Confucianism. In the picture, you see Confucius, also known as Kung Fu Chi or Kung Fu Zi or Master Kung. No? Of course, a Chinese philosopher, and he was born in September 551 BCE in the village of Kufu, state of Lu, in today's Shandong province. No? The son of a military commander named Kong He, who was of noble descent. So these are the books on Confucianism, four books and five classics. No? So the Book of Rites also given as the Book of Great Learning, the Doctrine of the Mean, the Analects of Confucius, the works of Mencius, the I Ching, the classics of poetry, the classics of rites, the classics of history, and spring and autumn annals. So here you will find the teachings of Confucianism. So I would like to share with you thoughts of Confucius. No? Some of the famous saying is that the man who asks a question is a fool for a minute, and the man who does not ask is a fool for life. No? So as I have said in this Confucianism, it's more of teaching an ethical or moral or code of conduct. No? And Confucius considered himself a transmitter who consciously tried to reanimate the old in order to attain the new. So here, in Confucianism, Confucius do not really claim as the founder, and the same thought with Jesus Christ as the founder of Christianity, or Siddhartha Gautama as the founder of Buddha. But you can consider Confucius as the foremost teacher and philosopher who wanted to share the wisdom from the past. No? teachings of the sages or from the past in order to have this achieve this harmony in our society. So these are the five main beliefs of Confucianism. We have the Yi, the Xin, the Xiong, the Xiao, and Jin. So when you speak of Yi, it speaks of righteousness in our own vernacular, pagkamataro. Xin is honesty and trustworthiness. So it is really very important virtue also, and loyalty to the state, love within the family, love of parents for their children, and love of children for their parents, and then benevolence or humanness towards one another, the most important Confucianism virtue. So this is what the followers of Confucianism should develop, and most especially the rulers or the leaders of the society. Okay, at this point let us talk about the, perhaps we can relate, and our questions probably on our curiosity is about the idea of God, the idea of salvation, the idea of spirituality. So here I will give you some of the important informations about Confucianism. So the traditional Confucian view on spirituality is that one should perform the necessary rituals and sacrifices to pay one's respect to the spirits and the forces in heaven. So this is how they understand spirituality in Confucianism, performing the necessary rituals and sacrifices. Next is that in the Analects, Confucius said, devotion to one's duty is a subject and respect for the spirits, while keeping them at a distance may be called wisdom. Okay, so they also have this devotion to one's duties. And then Confucius believed that praying was a waste of time. The will of heaven, he said, was not discovered in theology but in the collective experience of the ancestors. So we have to go back to the teachings of the ancestors, the wisdom that is left behind by the ancestors. And then heaven was seen as a source of correct conduct and human potential for goodness. So this is how I understand when we speak of heaven. Heaven is experienced here and now by having good relationship established between one another. And then in Confucianism, there is no God in Confucianism, but rather a force called the Tao or the Tien, also known as the Great Ultimate. So when we speak of there is no God, the understanding of God as the same with our religion in Christianity, but here the Confucians in Confucianism, they believe that the Tao was the impetus for creation and that this force flows through all life, enabling change and betterment. So this is how they understand God. And when you speak of their spirituality, okay, that is all for my discussion. If you have questions or clarifications, feel free to message me. Thank you for listening.